The Saints shut out the Patriots 34-0. And I was an idiot, and I picked the New England Patriots to win this football game because of us blowing the lead to Green Bay and a 9-point showing in a blowout at home as we let Baker Mayfield dice us up and lose 27-9. But I'll never pick against the Saints again. At least for right now, I will never pick against my New Orleans Saints again. But let's ask the real question of, did Pete Carmichael save his job? We heard all the rumblings. We've heard it all year. Pete Carmichael, Matt Canada, hand in hand. They know what's going on. Or do they? Because they clearly don't offensively for the teams that they're producing for. Did Pete Carmichael save his job? No. To me, Pete Carmichael did not save his job. You go and look at our offense over the year, and even back to last November, we've got a couple of single-digit showings. We lost 10-7 to close out the year at home to Carolina. 27-9 at home this year to the Bucs as favorites in the Dome. Now, I understand some of that's Dennis Allen. I understand some of that's Pete Carmichael. But when we're talking the offensive side of the ball, we've got proof going way back to November of last year. And we saw what Pete Carmichael was calling and putting on the field. And it was an absolute abomination. Straight up, it was. The Saints were not putting good offense on the field. We did what we were supposed to do in this football game. We came in, we blew out a bad football team. Congratulations, New Orleans. You got a win under your belt where you finally didn't play down to the competition like you did against the Titans, like you did against the Packers. Who's the second win of the season? Who's the second win of the year? Am I really a Saints fan if I don't know my second win of the year? Y'all got me so tapped out. Who is the second win of the year for the New Orleans Saints? Oh, yeah, like y'all did against the Panthers. The Saints have played down to their competition all year. And for the first time, they finally didn't. They take advantage of an outdated Bill Belichick offense. They take advantage of an average to below average quarterback in Mac Jones. Gotta love Tyrann Mathieu with the pick six. Carl Granderson getting in there and doing what he's supposed to do. Carl Granderson coming off of the payday, becoming that force with Cam Jordan. Pete Warner getting some plays in this game as well. Marshawn Lattimore still doing his thing. And I understand it's against a bad offense. But just like I said with Justin Fields, you got to take a first step in order to take a step. And that's what the Saints had to do here. Do I think we can turn the corner? We got Houston up next. We got Texans up next. They're not great defenses overall. So we could turn a corner here, come out of this 5-2, and feel like we were where we were with Sean Payton when Jameis was 5-2 before he tore the ACL. Not the same context, but Saints fans would feel good at 5-2. We got to see what Pete Carmichael does against other teams this year. We got to see what Pete Carmichael does against those elite defenses that we're going to potentially see later in the season. And I just want to go through the schedule because these are the games to me that Pete Carmichael is really going to be tested in. I think the next two he will. Falcons could be one. We played the Falcons twice. The Rams are playing solid football. We got to play the Lions. We're going to have to see the Bucs again. Those are the games I'm keeping my eye on for Pete Carmichael. I'm happy for what Pete did. Alvin Kamara played great in this game. Another 24-25 touches. Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Derek Carr looking solid. We did what we were supposed to do. 17 points off of New England's turnovers. Mac Jones now has 6 turnovers in the last 2 weeks, and the Saints were a major part of that. So I'm proud of my team for what we did. I'm proud of us for going on the road in Foxborough and shutting them out. Anytime you can shut out a team in the NFL, you feel great about it. Whether it was 2002 or 2022. So I'm happy for what the Saints did, but they did what they were supposed to do. What are you going to be against the Colts? What are you going to be against the Texans, the Jaguars, the Falcons twice? If the Vikings get it together, the Lions, the Saints had a schedule coming into the year which ranked as the easiest. And now that I'm actually a fan of, not actually a fan, now that I'm witnessing as a fan of a team that has the easiest schedule, I see why it can be BS. Because the Rams are playing above expectations. The Bucs are playing above expectations. The Lions might be playing at expectations. The Colts are playing above expectations. The Texans are playing above expectations. The Jags are playing below expectations. So the way that this schedule can shake out, Pete Carmichael's going to have his work cut out for him. We still got October, November, and December football to play. That is where you are made as a man in the NFL. That is where the made men emerge from the boys in the NFL. Do I think Pete Carmichael can do it? I almost wanted to say absolutely yes, but realistically, as of right now, I don't. I'm not going to sit up here and blow the doors off of the show and get all hype and ridiculously happy when we did what we were supposed to do against an inferior team. It's just about time we didn't play down to the competition because we had done it all year. We had done it in the recent years. And this team is too talented to be 3-2. This team could easily be 5-0, and I don't say that as a homer. We should have beat the Bucs. We should have beat the Packers. I think if Derek Carr stays in that game, yes, Rashid Shaheed got the punt return touchdown. I think the Saints are fine. The Saints are way too talented to be 3-2 where they're at right now, so I want to see how the rest of the schedule plays out before we just get up here and absolutely blow the doors off because of what the Saints did. But there were some good takeaways from this football game, I will say. There were some great takeaways from this football game, and when you look at Derek Carr's shoulder still being something that, was a little questioned. He only threw the ball 26 times. That was the fewest the Saints have thrown the football all year. Only 11 passes in the second half, and that's because they were so far in front. No turnovers from the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr had his best passer rating on the year. They performed in the red zone. They might have only had 304 total yards of offense, but the Saints were 3 for 3 in the red zone, 3 trips, 3 touchdowns. And that was the difference offensively for the New Orleans Saints. The Saints were the worst in the NFL in red zone touchdown percentage walking into that game against New England. And, some people are saying like, oh, you do feel good about this one because it feels like a ton of frustration and just all the shit, realistically, the Saints have been putting on the field. They just finally let it all hang out in the best way possible in Foxborough. Alvin Kamara was clearly Alvin Kamara in this game. He's got 25 touches this week, 24 touches last week. I don't necessarily want to see AK getting used at that clip because naturally when you get used that much, you are going to, run into injuries potentially. But the Saints just need to keep feeding Kamara if that's what it's going to take to win football games. Congratulations to him. Passing Marcus Colston is now the all-time New Orleans Saints leader in touchdowns, up there with a Jimmy Graham, Dalton Hillard, Deuce McAllister, Mark Ingram, Marcus Colston, and now Alvin Kamara at the very top for the New Orleans Saints franchise record with touchdowns. And I was pretty impressive by that because it shows how much of a clip that Kamara can get into the end zone on. And it's just an invaluable trait in the best way possible that the New Orleans Saints take advantage of and realistically just continue to make him a weapon in their offense year over year. Now, we know what the Saints defense is. We know what the Saints defense is. They held the Patriots to 1 for 14 on third down in this game. Mac Jones had his worst passer rating of the season. The Saints are now 4th in total defense, 4th in points allowed, and 3rd in third down conversion defense. This is the best defense we've had in a very long time. The combined passer rating against the Saints is 66.1. That is the best in the NFL. No team has been lower than that over the course of a season in 4 years. They're sharp in the red zone. They're going to get after the quarterback. They're going to cause turnovers. And they're going to make life a living hell. So, DA, again, bro, I talked about Sean Payton coming back. Slide you back into the defensive coordinator position because you're clearly doing your job. You're an exquisite defensive play caller 99% of the time. I don't believe Pete Carmichael saved his job, but you got to take a first step in order to take a first step. And I'm excited for what's to come because we better have 2 victories against the Texans, and I'm going to be there against the Jags next Thursday. I'll be driving back from New Orleans that Friday before we have a show, possibly that Friday night here in the studio in Georgia. But Saints fans, y'all get in the comments, get in the chats, let me know what you think about the Saints blowing out the Patriots. Shutout victory 34-0.